continue to do everything I can to prevent him from having any more victims.
William asked, have you ever watched any of his movies?
No.
Okay, and then Tony. So we're at the point where the first incident happens. How did it progress from there?
Honestly, I'm not 100% sure. I have like the traumatic memory loss, like where there's lapses, there's pieces that I don't have at all, like they're just gone.
Mm-hmm.
But it became, by the time we were filming Clown, it had become one of those things where he was very, I don't want to say open about it, but like one of the reasons that my mom had started pressing so hard about this was because she had had people from the crew on the set coming up to her and saying, "What's the deal with Nathan and Victor? Like they have, that's not normal. For every time Victor yells cut, Nathan runs up and jumps and sits on his lap. That's not normal, And so he was pretty open about it, for lack of better terms. At that point, he'd become very comfortable, where he treated me more like, if I was on set and I was doing something else or talking to girls or something, like he would act like a jealous lover, and that's what really triggered people into like thinking that something was not right. So as far as the progression goes, I'm not really sure exactly when or how fast it went.
Yeah.
By the time I told my mother the truth, like I said, it had progressed where Victor was really comfortable with it and was fairly open about being affectionate physically with me in public.
Do you think that he's done this before to other kids before you?
I know he has. I know of at least probably, at the very least, a half a dozen, probably more like 9, 10 kids that he was babysitting within the 6-year period that I had a relationship with him.
Was he always boys?
Always.
And
did any of those come forward?
No. The co-star of Farmhouse, who was also the co-star in Something in the Basement, Brian McHugh, there was evidence recovered, like pictures of him getting undressed for the shower. There was a couple of videotapes of him taking showers. So there was evidence that suggested him being abused as well, but his parents refused to come forward or allow him to.
Frankie Spencer said, awareness is what is so important. Awareness for our children to know that this kind of stuff is not supposed to happen. It's supposed to happen. Props to you, bro. True courage.
Thank you.
I'll work in the field.
And that's absolutely right. Awareness is the big one. Education is the other one. Education is prevention. The more that we educate ourselves, because there's telltale signs of a predator.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like you can go out and start accusing people of being a pedophile, but there are things to watch for, and there's things to watch for in your children to see if that should tell you fairly early on. And the more that you know about the signs, and the more that you know about how they operate, the easier it will be to prevent from happening. And the other thing that really is crucial and essential is the laws. Children don't have rights. Children don't vote. They can't be drafted. They don't pay taxes. Mm-hmm. So they have zero rights in the court system. And that's really what is keeping these predators on the streets. Victor was convicted. He was arrested on 11 counts of child molestation. He was convicted of 4 due to a plea bargain, shadily signed by my lawyer and his lawyer team. Was convicted of the 4 severe charges, sentenced 3 years from crime that took him 6 years to commit, and served 18 months in a treatment center in Napa Valley, California. He literally had a movie deal waiting for him, got out of treatment 18 months later. But I don't see how that's justice or that's protecting children by, you know, giving this man a 3-year sentence and he goes and does a year and a half in a treatment center. Like, how's that? That just doesn't add up to me. You know what I'm saying? And if the laws were stronger against these crimes and children had more rights, then these people would not be back on the streets. You know, they're just pushing them into treatment and right back out to the street. You know, and that's not productive in the prevention of this at all.
Frankie also, I didn't get to read it all because it wasn't on my thing there. He said, I work in the field of many victims, survivors. So many men will not talk about this trauma in their life. It's why addiction and other mental health issues become so common. Then he said, right on, because of what you were talking about. And he said, it's California that wouldn't happen in Kentucky.
Oh, the conviction?
Yeah.
The sentence?
Yeah.
I believe, you know, I mean, he basically, he was protected by Hollywood from day one. I mean, as soon as he was arrested, you know, Coppola's money went and got him, you know, the best lawyers that his money could buy.
So explain to everybody that might not understand. You said that you love this man. How is it that you come to that conclusion that you love this man? How'd that come about for you?
As an adult or as a child?
No, when you decided that you actually love him, how did you?
Well, it wasn't like it was a decision. It's like, you know, you spend time with someone and they treat you good and you're used to being treated like shit. You know, it was really easy for me to love him. Mm-hmm. You know, to look up to him. And here he is, you know, this young, he was like in his late 20s, I think. You know, mid to late 20s, and he writes movies, writes scripts, he makes movies. I'd always wanted to be an actor ever since I was a little boy. Mm-hmm. Like when I was 5, if you'd ask me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I would tell you I wanted to be a dad and famous. And so, you know, here he comes along and you know, he makes movies. And I just thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And, you know, I mean, he would like take me to go to like the local record store and let me pick out, you know, records, or he would take me to an amusement park, or he would take me, taking me to go see the newest movies, you know. Mm-hmm. He spoiled me, he treated me good, and I was not used to that. You know, my stepdad was not very nice to me at all, in fact. And coming from that, it was like a hole that I had that he came in and filled, right? Yeah. A missing part of my life that he came and filled those shoes. And so it was very easy for me to love him, you know, as a child. He treated me good.
Frankie said he was a predator and used his influence and power on the defenseless, sick person.
Absolutely. But that's really that's the MO for pedophiles, is to use the love and trust of a child. That's why it's so much different than, like, say, a rapist, where a rapist just comes and violently violates this person, right? Mm-hmm. It just leaves them, usually, you know, as to where a pedophile is very calculated, and they will take as much time as they need to get the trust of that child before they start abusing that child. Because they can't continue to abuse that child if the child's just going to freak out and go tell his parents right away, or her parents right away. You know what I'm saying? So they wait until they know for a fact that child trusts them above and beyond. Because once they have that trust and love from a child, they can do whatever they want, for as long as they want.
Did you? So now, was this? Did this go on every day, or was this like sporadic? Did it happen?
It's not like I saw him every day, no. But you know, I spend a lot of weekends in his house, and you know, I spend a lot of time with him. Mm-hmm. It's just one of those things that, you know, as much time as my parents would allow, and you know, being, you know, a lower income family with a dad that's gone to work all the time, and and mom's at home with the two boys all day, you know, and my brother and I we didn't get along very well. So, you know, they were happy to get a break, you know, and to only have the one kid or something, and I understand that. You know, it made it very easy to fix it.
So it didn't happen every time you were with him then?
At some point, yes. At some point, it was yeah. Every time, yes. I wouldn't say it was within the first 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say it was within the first 2 years, but I would definitely say the last 3-4 years, it was, yeah.
And
yeah.
and you got to the point where you actually liked this then, because he made you feel that you were loved and cared for. So
well, no, not necessarily that. I mean, here's the thing. This is also what creates such a guilt within the children, right? Because it does feel good.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what age you are. You know what I mean? If you have children, you know that your children, when they're young, they're infants, they're changing their diaper or something, you know, like, they play with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's just, it's not as if, you know, it felt bad physically. You know, I mean, not to confuse it, but obviously that kind of physical contact feels good.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what age you're at, you know. So it wasn't something that I liked necessarily because I didn't. And I started to like kind of pick up on the fact that, you know, he was like really wanting that all the time, you know, and that kind of, that I didn't like either, because I didn't like the way that he behaved when he wanted it, you know. It's like he all of a sudden it was like his personality would change. It was no more like, I guess I could pick up. I was picking up on the fact that he was sick and that he was abusing me. I just didn't know that the level of abuse. I didn't necessarily have a name for it, you know. But I knew something wasn't right.
So it's kind of like any other kid who their parent abuses them by verbally abusing them or by beating them or whatever it is. When somebody else comes in the picture and they're nice, then they cling to them and they try to say, you know, they want to be part of that person's life because their other life sucks so bad that that's how a pedophile lures somebody in, is because they're just, you know, and you know, and this has happened before with you know, the big one was, I guess last year, was Jarrett from Subway. You know, he was really a heinous individual, you know.
I didn't know that. I hadn't heard about it.
Oh, you hadn't heard about that one?
No, I personally, honestly, I don't really watch TV or listen to the radio or anything at all.
Well, he went to prison for sexually molesting kids up, I mean, even to the age of like 2 and 3 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was big, you know. I mean, they come in, they took his computers, they took everything. You know, Subway was like, no, he couldn't have done this, and then Subway flipped and said, we don't have nothing to do with him. Y'all do what you gotta do, you know, because they weren't gonna be no part of it, you know. But he would go and yeah, he would go to schools and talk about, you know, losing weight, and while he was there, he's picking out kids that he could take back to his hotel room. And
Victor, every job Victor had was involved with children. Like I said, my mother met him at a daycare center, right? And he worked at like the YMCA and the boys club kind of thing. Like every job he had was involved in children, where he had access to children.
It's unreal. So, since you were a child, does your parents have any accountability for this at all?
You know, I mean, you could speculate that fact, but in my opinion, just my opinion and my experience, I don't hold them accountable. I don't feel like that, like this happened and it was